Going loco down at Acapulco. Yeah, it's on. Okay. So I'm just using a different device right now so I can video without going in reverse, as you do. So I'm using CoinGecko a lot, as I've said before. I used to use on-chain FX and World Coin Index. I just want to show you why it's important to use these instead of using CoinMarketCap.com. It's not just for the reason that CoinMarketCap.com got bought by CZ, Binance. Because little annoyances, like, for example, every time you go into CoinMarketCap, you got to click on here to put in a coin, and when you first, okay, let me show you here. Let me renew this screen. I go in there to type something. What happens? Boom. That's on purpose. To make it so that the screen refreshes and then it has a delay, and then as soon as you click on there to do something and go click to enter your coins, the first thing people do makes you log in. They're trying to get you, they're forcing you sneakily to to sign up with them, right? Because you go log in, oh, you haven't got an account, oh, sign up, blah, blah, blah. That's what it's about. It's really annoying. It's sneaky. Up here, 8,251. That means they've got no discernment for anything that comes on their site anymore. Now, there's probably just as many coins back in 2017, but they weren't all listed on here, okay? Even CoinGecko's got 6,000, but let's get to that later. One issue is when you're looking for coins to purchase, look at the BTC price here, because, by the way, when you're trading, the only thing that matters is the Bitcoin price. Watch this. Oh, look, it goes between one Satoshi. No, it's not one Satoshi. If you look at those, it's only 6 decimal places, and who the fuck can count how many zeros? What is it? 5 zeros there and plus another thing. No one can count that. Well, some people might be able to, but I can't very easily. So when you're trying to look for coins to buy, well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a fucking lie. It's not 200 Satoshis. It's not 100 Satoshis. What they're doing is they're rounding that up, and that's a fucking cheap shot. So let's take that same coin. This is Cotty in this case. You know what, let me just go back here, just put it in Celsius, because I was going to look at that anyway and see what they do there. Celsius, these are two coins I actually plan to buy back into. I don't own any at the moment. Again, I sold Celsius at 590, I think it was, just about a few weeks ago. I could have made it a little bit higher, but you know, I didn't want to hold on. It went up a little bit and it went back down again. So I made the good move. It really is impossible to catch the tops, right? I mean, it's not impossible, but it's bloody hard. I do it very rarely. It's probably only probably less than one in 50 maybe, that I catch it right at, like, within a few percent, like 1%, 2% of the top. Right, so Celsius. Oh, we already have that, sorry. Right, so we're going to look at Celsius in here. Let's just look at a 3-month chart. We can see it's gone up, we can see it's gone down. If you zoom in there, what do we see? We see 3 zeros and then 3 characters, 136. Well, you telling me there's no Satoshi difference in there? The ones that matter more are when it's under 6 Satoshis. So what I should probably do is actually go to Cotty instead, since I know that is under 6 Satoshis. So let's go Cotty. Oh, let's go just back to where I was, sorry. And let's go in here. Do the same thing on this listing site. So really annoying that the default on CoinGecko goes to 24 hours. It's not what you want to see. This is for scalp traders, who I think are the biggest idiots. Well, not really. I mean, you make your money how you can make your money, but I think it's probably people who are kind of stock market type traders who trade on a daily basis. They're high stress traders. They want to see the 24-hour chart. I don't care about that. I look at long term, right? Oh, look at that. By the way, you have to always do this, because when you're buying in and you're looking in these little crevices here and you're sitting there scalping around in this, if you get fucked and the market goes sideways, even if you bought here and you think you're buying a dip, this is the dip. That's a dip, and that's an even bigger one. And if you get caught somewhere in a bear market and a bull market where it heads towards a bear market and it doesn't recover, like these 2 false starts we had last year, you're going to bleed out all the way down here. And that is why you've got to zoom out and look at the charts. This is something that even I think some traders would make a mistake on. They look at these formations, say it's about to pump, some market activity happens or some dynamic, political dynamic happens, and before you know it, everything's going to custard. Anyway, that wasn't the point. As you can clearly see here, the price is not 1 Satoshi, 150. Now, if you think about the profit margins in here, look at this, 150. Before that, 162. As you can see, it's coming. Another thing is, you see the price, the volatility against the USD. Look at it. 50 cents, 40 cents. Whereas Bitcoin's not moving up. Bitcoin's moving the other way. It's becoming worth less Bitcoin and less Bitcoin as time goes on, almost always, right? In that last little bit. Bollocks, what the hell happened there? 90 day, right. Come on. Right, so focus on BTC, as I always say, because unless you're buying in from fiat currency, that's the only time you should ever be looking at that blue line there. I'm not sure what color it is on CoinMarketCap.com, but you never focus on the dollar value. Once you're in crypto and any altcoin, from that point forth, start counting everything. Let's say, for example, right now I'm on one exchange called Hit BTC. I moved, what do you call it? I moved New Economy Movement here only because they were going to do some, what's it called, a fork. So I thought, well, for the sake of getting a fork coin, blah, blah, blah. I moved my money here, and then I see there was a, I cannot find where the hell it is. There was an update saying that, oh, hey, that's not going to happen anymore. Here, it might be in here. There you go. This, sorry for my terrible camera work. This airdrop here, look at this pathetic pullout. As a result of the vote that took place recently amongst the NAME community, it's been decided that this initial snapshot time will be postponed until further notice. That means I just moved my coin there for nothing. That's actually a risk. I see that as a risk. Get me to move my coin to a fucking exchange so I can have a fork. So I'm going to say, fuck you, New Economy Movement. I'm selling out more than half, 0.1 Bitcoin of that, and I'm going to put it towards Coty and Celsius. I think they have longer to fall, though. That's the only downside here. Not that you'd be able to work that out using that piece of shit. Where is it again? Let me bring up over here. There's so many windows open. I do my other work on here as well, not just trading, so unfortunately it's a bit of a mess. Right, so you can see on there, this clearly tells me that as far as me trading, and you know, if you're an actual Bitcoin, you're an actual crypto trader, not some guy who dips in and out the fiat market because he thinks that's the real monetary market, but someone who's actually a proper coiner, you're never going to know where it's going from a Bitcoin point of view. And you've got to kind of look at that wee orange line and kind of have a guess, which is piss poor. That's only since Binance took it over. Same as this stupid little box here that pops in front of your face and turns left so you click on the login button. Even the fact that the page now has far more kilobits of information than it used to have, so it makes it slow. And when you're dashing between stuff, if you are a scalp trader, you're going to want to come on here really, really quickly, refresh the page, and it ain't going to happen because you got to wait. Especially if you've got a slow internet connection, what a lot of people in America do because the internet's so terrible over there. So I mean, I can get a SIM card in the countryside that works better than most people's broadband in a major city in America. That's the sad fact, right? So looking on where I can actually get some data, and what I see in here is that the price is actually going down to 144. So between that 1 and 2, you see all these percentages gains you could be making. If you're shorting, for example, let's say in this point here, you think it's going to go down half the value. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's one reason you need to use CoinGecko or OCFX.io. Oh, was it IO? I can't remember. It's been a while since I used that one. OCFX.com. Maybe it's on-chain FX or wrong. I haven't used it in a while. It is on-chain FX. I'm sure they had the OCFX before. Anyway, there you go. On-chain FX is another one you can use. Let's go into it and see if it does the annoying thing that the other one does. BTC 32,000. So let me just see a different one. An actual altcoin. Let's say Chainlink. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. Can I set anything? There's probably settings in here. It doesn't snap out to me instantly, so I'm going to say this is now a piece of shit. So don't use on-chain FX unless all you want to see is the actual price against the dollar, which is pathetic. Another one I used to use a long time ago was World Coin Index. World Coin. There we go. World Coin Index, Bitcoin, whatever. All right. Okay. Let's hold out hope. This one will look good. Oh no. Straight off the bat. Oh, it looks all right. Okay, let me see. Bitcoin Cash. Good data in there, but not what you're looking for it. This little bubble should be giving you all the information you want, right? Okay, you can see volume in here. Their volume's a lot cleaner looking than what you get on CoinMarketCap.com. But as far as the floating price information here, which should be given in Bitcoin, in dollars, or maybe even be able to let you set it in other different currencies, and maybe even Ethereum as well. That would be useful. They don't have it. Again, I would say compared to CoinGecko, shit. This is what you want. Oh, you're prospecting for stuff, you're looking for that data there, right? End of story. CoinGecko wins hand down. Sorry for the blurring of the screen here. So there's that. There's the thing I was just talking about before about hit BTC. I just wanted to... okay. That thing I said about new economy movement, where they were going to do a fork. Now, things like NEM and also Nano were projects I wanted to have a small stake in again, because I'd seen that they were scraping the floor. They were pretty good projects back in the day. I don't see much happening with them now, but they still have loyal communities. I never liked them that much because they're both non-mineable. There's a lot of point of differences. There's a lot of good technology that both companies brought out. I'm just trying to remember that the case for Nano again. There's just too many fucking projects sometimes. I can't remember. Maybe I'll do a little segment on Nano, because there's a lot of good stuff about Nano, and very fast as well. But the thing is, when you bring out some news about a fork happening and then don't do it, and people move their coin around for you, and then you give a statement the day before the snapshot was meant to be taken, it's just useless. So I'm going to be going into better projects. Anyway, I'm rambling on right now. I think there was something else here about using tools. Yeah, try not... so Hit BTC is one of those exchanges where I didn't used to have much confidence in it. And not that I do still. I just remember last time I dealt with their customer services, they were horrendously bad. Not as bad as, I think Yobit was even worse. Some companies are gone now. I'm trying to stick now to two exchanges. The two exchanges I've found that have the best response have a lot of coins. So the one with the most coins, of course, is Binance. A lot of people are against Binance. I don't particularly like the fact that it's probably just a Chinese company that's pretending to be a corporation. That's what I don't like about it. Same as the mining companies. I really don't believe a lot of these mining companies are actual companies. I believe that they're CCCP. And I shouldn't. One of the ones I use is called Liquid, and it's based in Japan. Now, of course, everyone knows what happened with MT Gox. I do use it because it's nice and clean, but I shouldn't use it because it's based in Japan. Japan should be a burned location for crypto, in my opinion, because of the crimes that their legal system committed in letting MT Gox away with massive fraud. And then also, instead of giving people back their coin that belongs to them because they deposited it on that system and it got hacked, the coins that were still available on there that weren't stolen by hackers, instead of being given back to the owners, maybe in a pro rata way, like for example, we had 60% stolen, so of the 40% remaining, you're gonna get 40% of what you had back, something like that. Instead, they gave it to the shareholders. That shows what they're all about. They don't care about the crypto market, and therefore you shouldn't really care about them. I'm on there because I really like the liquid exchange. My friend who introduced me to it got pissed off with them, and he doesn't use them anymore. The UI is really sharp, and the customer service is actually good as long as you've got the email addresses of the main people there, which I do. So, but other than that, I would say stick to Binance, and then take your money off when you get decent wallets. Always get yourself a hardware wallet, but don't leave too much sitting. I use multiple Binance accounts. Be careful with using multiple accounts, by the way. People recommend you do this on like Bybit, for example, and it's an okay thing to do, but check the terms and conditions. I had an incident fairly recently with Bittrex, who I no longer trade with, and they said that they were locking my account because I had two accounts. Oh, let's discuss this and let's get to the bottom of it. Just locking my account because I had two accounts. Luckily, they'd given an email a week before asking me the middle name of my first ever crush and the weight of my back teeth and the pattern layout of freckles on my back. You know what I mean? Just stupid questions that I'd never be able to answer, but also questions I have to dig through and get heaps of documentation when I've already done KYC. No thanks, go fuck off. And that's why Bittrex is going to die. Bittrex will fully die. Most of their customer base was across the world. Very little was in America. This is what companies deserve to go through when, instead of forcing the hand of the regulatory authorities in America, they just don't jump ship and leave, because that's what they should do. Binance actually did this with China. I still don't believe it really happened, but they left and went into other markets to do what Amazon does, have servers dotted around the world, so you go into a local zone. When you go into your website, you're actually getting directed towards one kind of copy of that site, if you like. Not a copy, but it's a high availability copy of that site. Binance didn't do that. They didn't push back. They're just losing customers hand over fist. They hardly list any coins you want to have anyway. I used them a long time ago because they did Digibyte, one of the few that did, and now I think Binance actually has that as well. So you just go. It wouldn't make sense for Binance to do an MT Gox and steal everyone's money, because they're already making billions upon billions. But you never know. It depends if it is owned by the Chinese government, just sneakily in the background, and all those, because we already know that the Chinese government will put out false things, like with COVID-19, the false videos of people getting dragged out of their houses. They were all false. They were to build panic in the West. So we know that they're into information warfare or disinformation warfare. And I think that Binance could be one of those situations. Then again, any of these companies are open to an exit scam. Don't think, look at Cryptopia. What's going on with Cryptopia right now is blatant fraud carried out by a liquidation agency called Grant Thornton. The reason why you know it's a blatant scam is because the solution to give everyone back their crypto that's left on there, even if it was done again by a pro rata basis, but whatever you had minus the percentage that the hackers stole, fix it up. You've still got the database. It should be fucking easy. They're making it so difficult. They're making it people answer questions. They haven't even asked me to answer the questions yet. So I'm guessing that, I think they're maybe doing it in whenever you said that you were on there. Like after it got hacked, they gave you a chance to write your email address down. I think they're doing it in sequential order, maybe, or maybe they're just forgetting about it. I don't know, but there's some scam going on there where they're just basically trying to make it impossible for you to claim what's yours back. That's in New Zealand. New Zealand's one of the safe countries. Well, we thought was one of the safe countries. That's why I used to go with Cryptopia. Good design, but also in a safe country. There's nowhere safe. The banking institutions all around the world are making it more and more difficult to just bank. I'm having to fill in so much paperwork now in New Zealand and in the UK. Unfortunately, because I used to live in America years ago, There's little legal wrangles and stuff in there. Lucky I've been away for a long time and I haven't lived there at all, even for, I think there's a 20 or 30 day period you have to live there per year, so I haven't done that for years myself anyway. But it's really lucky because I didn't see those regulations until recently, so I could have got stung for I don't know, anything, even interest earnings I had in my account in the UK, for example. I could have had to file some stupid return, and an American tax return is a pain in the ass. The American tax return is done on a system that can actually do it automated, but the automated feature, which was developed with taxpayers' money at the tune of billions of dollars, the feature's turned off because TurboTax and, oh damn, there's two of them. There's two of the big tax companies in America. They actually their lobbyists paid the government, the corrupt officials in the government, to order to get that turned off. That's how corrupt the system is there. Just so that people have to pay TurboTax to do their file a tax return for them. That's how crazy it is. And also it makes it more difficult. See, if you don't do things automated, it means that without filing your taxes, you won't know if they owe you money. That's another trick that they do. They want to make sure they have to give back as little as possible from what they've stolen off you. Tax is already theft, but tax that you're due back, that's just extra scummery, and that's what happens in many countries, not just the US, but they perfected the art. So I think that's about all I want to cover at the moment. I'm trying to think if there's, when it really comes down to exchanges, you might want to try Unilayer. If you're only just starting to, I wouldn't say get into trading, but getting into just occasional buying of a coin, which is effectively trading. Let's say you've got Ethereum, you've got a little bit of Bitcoin, you want to take a punt on something like Celsius. I think it could still go a lot more from where it's gone. It's going to have a little bit of a pullback like it's doing, but I think it can go a lot higher than it is. Same as the Coty one as well. It's a payment network. A lot of projects are going to do really well in this next bull run coming up. So you don't have to get into trading. Just go onto one of these swap sites. Now Uniswap is a bit of a pain in the ass to use, but Unilayer apparently makes it easier. So instead of having this screen where it's got, you plug in your MetaMask, attach MetaMask to the Uniswap site, and then you've got your Ethereum that's available. You have a drop-down box that shows the currencies you can buy, right? It's very, very crude. Well, Unilayer and also I think 1inch, their job is to basically put a front end on that to make them look more pretty and tie into multiple exchanges, so SushiSwap and Uniswap and any other one you have, BitShares maybe, and make that look more like what exchanges look like, easier to use when you get used to them. Because the simple ones, it's just like an iPhone. Simple to use when you've never seen a phone before. But once you've seen a phone before and you're not haven't just been born yesterday, an iPhone's a pain in the ass, and an Android's a lot easier to use because it's not so restrictive. Same kind of theory. That's about it really. But yeah, I'd say that you don't usually have to be careful of the big exchanges during a bull run. So my biggest worry is when you end up in a bull run and it goes back to a bear market again, when everything starts to come down, that's when they think themselves, shall we do an exit scam? And that's when a hacker comes along and magically hacks their website. Because not to say that it's not impossible for someone who's got a lot of security to be hacked. It is possible. I just really still think it's exit scams most of the time. That what's going on? There's just too much money at stake not to do it. You're an exchange that knows you're on your way out. You lost all your programmers. They've gone elsewhere. You're too stingy to pay them any money to make the website better. You can see your overall liquidity on the site going down and down and down. Let's say you weren't even using market makers to give liquidity for the last year because you've had so much business. Now you're going back to having to use market makers again like you did when you first launched it. They're probably just going to pull the plug, steal all the money. That's what I think you're going to see a lot more of, because even though the market's getting bigger, there's also more players in the market. And that's why also a lot of these DeFi projects, once you get in and make your money, don't hold on. I said this in the video a few days ago. Don't hold on because they'll all go to the floor. Look at every major project, including Ethereum. When it's the bear market, they end up 1/10 the Bitcoin value. Of course, Bitcoin ends up 1/10 the USD value. That's not what I'm getting at here. If you hold long term, you still have the Bitcoin that you had. If you stay in an altcoin, you not only lose the USD value, you lose the Bitcoin value, and that's what really matters. Bitcoin always recovers to its previous high. The dollar never recovers to its previous high. The pound, the euro never recover to the previous high because they're inflationary currencies. So by sheer design, they're losing value by the day. But yeah, no. So Bitcoin holds its value against itself at a 1-to-1 ratio. No other coin does. Now there are exceptions. There's not many. But over the whole lifetime of crypto, there's nothing that is actually okay, yeah, that probably is actually. Let me think. There are things like Yearn Finance. Again, I don't fully trust a lot of these coins, these unminable tokens that are used to be a kind of share. One thing you got to look at is, in the case of some of these projects that are tokenized, right? Those tokens are not linked to shares in the background. There's nothing in there that says, there might be some companies that do that, but for the most part, if you were to do that, it would be called a security, and then the SEC would be down on your ass, unless you said you weren't selling that token in that country. Although from what I hear, they still seem to mess with people, like the world police outside their own country. They're telling people, hey, what are you doing? You can't sing the national anthem like that. But I'm in the Philippines. What are you talking about? We care. You know, it's pretty crazy. So just remember that when you own a token, what's the token actually doing? As a utility in our ecosystem, you have to do what? Oh, to pay for photocopying. Who cares? Why wouldn't you just pay for it with Bitcoin when the time comes? That's the thing you got to remember. That's why Bitcoin holds its value, because when it really comes down to it, almost every utility coin is a shit coin. And even the projects that I like Energy Web Token, the reality is one day, if all money goes to Bitcoin and transactions are sped up using all sorts of implementation from sharding, who knows what else that can be implemented in the Bitcoin blockchain whenever they choose to, it could put it back to just one world money, and that is Bitcoin. Just one last point on there then. So if you were to go down the path of having one world currency, I seen a thing on Al Jazeera this morning, just clueless idiots. I don't know why the mainstream news channels get on these people that don't know what they're talking about. They were talking about, the fact that Bitcoin's hidden and it's untraceable, and that's entirely untrue. Money laundering's untraceable to most people, except for auditors given the powers in a specific country or jurisdiction. In the banking system, it's the banking system that makes things impossible to track. This is why most money laundering happens in the banking system. Your HSBCs, Barclays of the world, they're the ones who are moving mafia money around. Of course, it's happening now in Bitcoin as well, but the reality is that can be traced by anyone. Doesn't not just Chainalysis, who do data forensics across the blockchain networks, but it can be done by average Joe, who can write in C++, or he's a good database developer, and he can take the open ledger and start crunching data from all the transactions. You can start saying, right, this Bitcoin wallet was created anonymously, but the first money that was sent to it was one from a guy called Craig, who was on Coinbase, because that's a Coinbase wallet, and that's who it was assigned to, because they have to open their KYC records up to us. So Craig, full name here, everything about him, sent it to this wallet. It probably belongs to him. Oh, look, this other one connects to someone in his family. It must be him. Or even if it doesn't, oh, look, it goes to someone in an organization that we're going to call a terrorist organization. Before you know it, they're blacklisting that address. Now, the issue with that in the future could be that if we allow companies to centralize things, this is why people need to move away from regulation. This is why Eric Voorhees a few days ago said that he would be getting rid of KYC on his platform. This is the shapeshift.io. Was because he can see this is back to a control mechanism. You can take open immutable Bitcoin. And if you end up with companies that control the on-ramps and off-ramps to Bitcoin, I don't just mean the fiat off-ramps, I mean the spending functionality, let's say BitPay, for example. If they're all regulated and they can all block, then you would end up in a state where even though Bitcoin's immutable, that it would still be mutable for most transactions. If it was that most people were using a third-party software wallet, and that wallet could show the directory of blacklisted addresses and therefore wouldn't let them transmit money because it's in the wallet software, you would end up in a situation that would undermine that usability of Bitcoin. We need to move away from that. We need to tell them, go fuck yourself, stick with your own regulations, go down with your burning ship. We deserve to be. I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you got some good information from that. All right, cheers, bye.